this is A and M with Stinging Back, and here is some information for you today about the online sting operations. For decades, gay men were falsely portrayed as a threat to children. They were accused of being more likely to groom, abuse, or prey on minors simply because their sexual orientation was different from what society considered normal. Those accusations were repeated in the media, in politics, and in public discourse. And over time, they helped justify discrimination, fear, and the destruction of countless innocent lives. Today, most people recognize that sexual orientation has nothing to do with whether someone is a child predator. Yet the same mistake is now being repeated with a different group of people.
Today, men who participate in the online hookup culture using the internet to seek casual sexual encounters with other adults are increasingly being treated as if they are inherently suspicious or more likely to be interested in minors. The online hookup culture is diverse and includes people from many backgrounds, including a significant number of LGBTQ individuals. These investigations disproportionately focus on men who participate in these spaces, particularly those using platforms designed for casual sexual interactions. That assumption lies at the heart of many online sting operations. The logic is often presented as simple. If a man is looking for sex online, he must be more likely to pursue a child. But where is the evidence for that claim? After all, these are adult environments created for adults seeking consensual sexual interactions with other adults. There is no valid reason to introduce a minor into those situations, whether in reality or through a fictional online persona, and then use that introduction as evidence that the adult participant was seeking a child in the first place. Doing so blurs the distinction between someone seeking a consensual adult encounter and someone who is actively seeking out minors. Seeking consensual sexual encounters with other adults is not the same as seeking to exploit or abuse a minor. Yet participation in the online hookup culture is often treated as a warning sign in itself, despite the absence of evidence that an interest in consensual adult sexual activity is, by itself, an indicator of sexual interest in children.
Millions of adults use the internet every day to find consensual relationships, hookups, dates, and sexual encounters with other consenting adults. Seeking consensual sex is not the same thing as seeking to exploit, coerce, groom, or abuse another person. Those are fundamentally different behaviors.
People who force themselves on others, manipulate others, groom vulnerable individuals, or coerce people into unwanted sexual activity are displaying a disregard for consent. Their behavior is defined by exploitation.
By contrast, people seeking consensual, casual sexual encounters are pursuing willing adult partners. Their goal is mutual participation, not coercion. The difference is consent.
And consent is not a minor distinction. It is the entire distinction. An adult decoy who engages a man online in a sexual conversation and agrees to meet for a casual sexual encounter does not suddenly become a non-consenting person simply by assuming the role of a minor and claiming to be underage. The individual remains an adult who is voluntarily participating in the interaction and, in many cases, actively encouraging or pursuing the sexual conversation and proposed encounter. From a behavioral standpoint, the interaction still involves a willing adult participant, not an actual minor.
This raises a fundamental question. If the interaction is taking place between a consenting adult decoy and a man seeking what he believes to be a consensual sexual encounter, what exactly is being used to conclude that the man poses a threat to actual minors? The answer often lies not in the interaction itself, but in assumptions made about the individual's intentions and character.
Yet many online sting operations involve actively drawing men who are seeking adult sexual encounters into interactions with someone claiming to be underage. Once those conversations occur, the resulting communications are often presented as proof that the individual was seeking a minor, rather than examining the extent to which the interaction may have been initiated, encouraged, or shaped by the decoy. This can lead to conclusions about a person's intentions that are not fully supported by the complete context of this interaction.
Once that conclusion is reached, the individual is frequently portrayed to the public as a predator before the full circumstances of the interaction have been examined or understood. The focus shifts from what actually occurred during the exchange to assumptions about what the person's motives must have been.
The result is a system that often begins with a presumption of guilt rather than a careful examination of evidence demonstrating criminal intent.
History teaches us that societies become dangerous when they begin targeting people based on assumptions about who they are, what they believe, or how they conduct their private lives. When we start treating entire groups of people as potential predators because of their sexual interest, sexual orientation, or lawful sexual behavior, we abandon the principle of individual responsibility. We stop judging actions and start judging identities.
The question should never be whether someone is different. The question should always be whether someone intended to harm, exploit, coerce, or victimize another person. If we lose sight of that distinction, we risk repeating the same kinds of moral panics and false assumptions that have harmed innocent people throughout history. And that is exactly what has been happening for the past 2 decades. This is a lesson we should never forget.
This is Stinging Back, examining the facts behind online sting operations, due process, and government accountability.